Somewhere in Somerset, there is a Royal Naval Air Station. It is called either RNAS Yeovilton or Her Majesty's ship Heron, in keeping with the Royal Navy's habit of overcomplicating things. The nuance as to why it needed two names was explained to me and others frequently by my father, who was serving there in 1982 as the operations officer. My father had once flown helicopters, but I had no idea what his current job entailed. However, his office was in the air traffic control tower, which meant that occasionally we would go inside the wire and get to see personnel and machines at a far closer range than the public could. We also got to watch Air Day and the arrivals the day prior from the tower roof. If you are reading this and once arrived for Yeovilton Air Day in about 1982 in a US Air Force F-15 and decided to stick the jet on its tail, light the blowers and disappear into the wide blue yonder, you made my day, and Dad's too. He came barreling from the door, yelling, "Did you see the F-15?" as if he'd just got Van Halen's signature. Rightly so. What a jet. The vortices streaming from the wingtips were sights to behold. However, in the main, my view of the air station was exactly the same as that of the average punter, and usually involved being the wrong side of the chain link, waiting with Mum for Dad to arrive, desperately hoping that whatever was making the jet engine noise would present itself at some point. There was usually a fair bit of helicopter traffic around. I liked seeing the junglies. Indeed, my boyhood hero Crabbers was a jungly, and he lived just up the road. His hero status was actually due to him pulling his gear stick out of its mounting and waving it at us on the A303 when he and Dad were having a race to the bar, rather than his being a jungly. It was the jets that my brother and I wanted to see, and despite lots of noise, close-up sightings weren't common. Those at Yeovilton were called Sea Harriers, and I had no connection to them whatsoever. I didn't know that they were new, but I do have a memory of Dad explaining an earlier Harrier crash by saying that the pilots were unfamiliar with some of the type's flying characteristics. I loved my trips to Yeovilton. We lived locally, and it was a matter of great pride to me that I had a connection with the air station. My best friend at primary school was Toby. His father was ex-Fleet Air Arm and a test pilot at Westlands in Yeovil. Toby and I used to fail miserably to hide our jealousy when one of us had a cooler poster or sticker than the other. Toby's dad even managed to out-cool Crabbers on one occasion by illuminating our house with a searchlight while night flying. It would be fair to say that we were enthusiasts, but very much in the I like the look of aeroplane sense, as opposed to understanding what they actually did. Until 1982, we only saw the machines. We didn't see the people who flew them, and certainly couldn't extrapolate flying to operating. Still, we were 7, so what do you expect? However, if you'd asked me then what I wanted to be, I'd have said that I wanted to be a pilot. One day in April, we went to pick my father up, and everything changed. We used to park just to the west of the Fleet Air Arm Museum in a car park, which is still there to this day. This time, things began to stir behind the chain-link fence. The noise was greater than normal. Jets were moving. Sea Harriers with cockpits open, held back by pilots' elbows, began to taxi. From my standpoint, looking south across the airfield, they were moving from right to left, towards what I found out a mere 15 years later was the approach end threshold of runway 27.